Good evening, everyone. I am Paula Fontana, Interim President with the National Black MBA Association, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Finding Your Career Breakthrough with Johnson & Johnson. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, the mission of the National Black MBA Association is to lead in the creation of educational, wealth building, and growth opportunities for Blacks throughout all stages of their careers as students, professionals, and entrepreneurs. And we can only accomplish our mission by partnering with organizations such as Johnson & Johnson, which take the time to provide access to opportunity to our membership. So I know they have incredible content to share. I don't want to stand in between you and that content. So let me introduce you to Carla Young. Carla, Johnson & Johnson, take it away.
Thanks, Paula. As I mentioned, I am Carla Young, your host. We are so excited that you have taken the time this evening to spend a little bit more of your time to really imagine the breakthroughs that we'll make together. So on the next slide, we'll go through the agenda that highlights a little bit more detail about Johnson & Johnson and learning breakthrough skills, our impact, how you can join us. As we know, we are excited to see you at the upcoming National Black MBA Conference in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in September. Go in more detail in regards to the business function, and we'll have some time to have the Q&A. So feel free within your Zoom link to access the Q&A function and drop in your questions, and we'll have folks answer them throughout the presentation. Next slide. Next slide. Thank you. So as I mentioned, I am super excited. It is a privilege and honor to be here with you all this evening. I am Carla Young, North America Early Career Partner. I sit in the Tampa Bay region. I do hold an MBA from the College of William & Mary, and I'm super excited to get you a little bit closer to all the great work that we have to showcase this evening. Next slide. So as I've introduced myself, how about you? You are smart, you're curious, you are relentless, and we know you want to make a difference because you've taken the time to be strategic with getting to know us in preparation of taking your career to the next level with Johnson & Johnson. Next slide. And not only are you ready to take your career to the next level, you want your career to be meaningful, right? Something that you're looking forward to, something that you can have impact, because we know these qualities are in demand in today's world. Next slide. We need you, and the world needs you. We are here today because we're looking, for people like you, someone who wants to and has the potential to accomplish amazing things, cure diseases, prevent diseases, improve quality of life, expedited healing. We would like to share with you how, together with passionate employees, inspirational leaders, and a global community of people innovating in concert, where you can change the trajectory of human health. Next slide. So you may be wondering, breakthrough thinking starts with you. Matter of fact, we all do. We're marketers, we're creators, we're mathematicians, chemists, and accountants, and so many other functions. But most importantly, we are innovators. And do you know who else can drive breakthrough thinking at Johnson & Johnson? Each and every one of you. Breakthrough thinking isn't just the ability to spark amazing and innovative ideas that can make the world a healthier place to live. It's pushing further in what we do in our day-to-day jobs, the small wins, the areas of opportunity, how we learn from them and grow. They are made when we work with a collective focus and an individual purpose driving us. And it's helped us to evolve into 250 companies serving everything from day-to-day care products to life-changing medical devices. Next slide, please. Now about J&J. You've probably heard of Johnson & Johnson, but do you really know what we do? You see, while everyone's been looking the other way, we have been looking for new ways to push the boundaries of science to transform health. And we've been achieving amazing things together. Life-changing innovations like VR surgical training, lung nodule biopsies, AI-driven bladder cancer treatments, Alzheimer's disease detection driven by data science and robotic-assisted surgery. So let's take a closer look at why Johnson & Johnson is a place where you can fuel your passion for discovery. Next slide. The place to come to see your innovations come to life. Before we get too deep in this presentation, I like to set the record straight. Johnson & Johnson, the name, is often associated with household products, but that is now a different company. Johnson & Johnson is a leader in pharmaceuticals and medtech. We invent and create some of the most groundbreaking innovations in health, our medicines, robotic technology, and medtech push the boundaries of science to transform health. You see, every year we attract the best minds in science and economics, marketing, innovation, and even law. This is a place where you can make an immediate impact on the lives of others and seeing results for what you do. It's why Johnson & Johnson is a place where people come together to create a greater impact larger than themselves for the patients in which we serve. This is how we turn the dreams of sci-fi into a reality without the fiction. Next slide. So we're looking for the brilliant minds who see the world differently. Keep in mind, we are a global company with a workforce that spans over 70 countries. You'd expect people from diverse range of backgrounds and experiences because we know that breakthrough ideas come from having thinking stimulated, our norms challenged, and to be surrounded by different people who spark ways of thinking. Johnson & Johnson offers a range of programs to support gender equity, sexuality, accelerated development programs for disadvantaged students as well. Next slide, please. And with that diversity of thinking and worldviews comes wisdom and experience and 100+ years of learning what does and doesn't work. Did you know our first 14 employees, 8 were women? We continue to attract diversity and drive gender equity in key areas like data science, a traditionally male-dominated field, where at J&J, women are leading the way. Building a workplace where we all belong has always been a part of our history. Next slide, please. Most importantly, that's also been a staple within our legacy is our credo, a promise set in stone. Matter of fact, it's our guiding principle. It's basically be excellent to each other. It's our moral compass. It's the yardstick that we hold ourselves to. Because some jobs aren't rocket science, we're in the business of human health, and saving lives comes with it. It was a breakthrough idea when it was written in 1943. And our credo is as relevant today as it was then. It guides us of how we do things at work in the communities we serve, starting with improving health quality at every stage of life. We believe that when we take care of our communities we're serving, including employee success, will follow. The fact that Johnson & Johnson is one of only a handful of companies that have flourished through more than a century of change is proof of just that. Next slide. Now, as I mentioned, our credo is our staple, but health is essential to doing a great job within your career. A healthy place to work and grow. Our pursuit of life-changing breakthroughs creates a world of possibility for your professional and personal development. But to achieve these, we want you to be in the best state of mind, because when you live your best life, you do your best work. Next slide. Employee benefits, which help you to be the best version of yourself. We offer the traditional benefits employees expect, from medical, dental, and vision options, depending on the plans you elect and the family members you wish to enroll. But more importantly, we offer benefits that further enable our employees and their families to receive the support they need to maintain physical, mental, and financial well-being. We have a number of benefits that will provide you top tier experiences to keep you in top tier shape. Your mind is top of our mind, and a wealth of financial health resources, from salary to bonus opportunities to financial tools and benefits. We've got the resources you need to reach your financial goals at every step of your career as well. Balance that leads to success, and most importantly, family first and second and always. At Johnson & Johnson, you get a robust range of resources to support and care for the people that matter most to you, because you feel better when those around you do as well. Next slide. Fostering a healthy team across all dimensions. Wherever you are in your health, career, life journey, we're there to support you across all dimensions. Because when you're at your healthiest, you're able to change the trajectory of your health, your family, business, and all humanity. For you as an individual and your family, we offer programs and policies that empower you physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. For your career, we offer a clear pathway for development with opportunities to grow professionally as you pursue your passions. As an organization, we believe in creating a healthy environment in which to work. This means fostering a diverse and inclusive culture that is led by our credo to advance the health of our business, our team, and the health of humanity. Next slide. As I've mentioned, our goal, the world's healthiest workforce. As you can see here on the screen, we have a number of benefits expanded from health, finance, lifestyle benefits. These highlight our commitment to inclusivity, gender equality. A couple benefits to highlight amongst the options listed on the screen here. We encourage our staff and employees to join employees' resource groups, from groups for veterans to people with different cultural backgrounds. These groups showcase our commitment to diversity and how we collaborate and learn from each other. Student loan advice that will help you on your journey to healthy finances. We offer on-site childcare, fitness facilities, and health centers. We also offer pet insurance. But did you know that Johnson & Johnson has enhanced military benefits? Military members will receive 100% pay in addition to military pay for the first 24 months of deployment, paid time off to transition back after military leave, and expanded mental health services for military members and their families. Next slide. So without further ado, as you can see, my passion and excitement for working at Johnson & Johnson, and we cannot wait to speak to you and see you at the National Black Career in Philadelphia. I am pleased to share more opportunities from early in career North America, starting with finance with Farhad.
Next slide. Thank you, Carla. Hi, everyone. My name is Farhad Sheikh, and I'm currently a senior financial analyst at Johnson & Johnson, supporting the global finance talent management team based in New Jersey. I'll be at the National Black Conference this year in Philly, and I really look forward to meeting all of you this year. Next slide. Right, so the finance team will actively be recruiting at National Black for 2 positions within finance. The first being the summer 2024 MBA internship, and the second being our full-time 2024 MBA leadership development program. Our internship is a 10-week program, while the LDP full-time program is a 4-year rotational program comprised of 2 rotations. Both of these programs are designed to help you really hone in on your finance competencies and your leadership capabilities within the healthcare industry. Next slide. Here you can see a breakdown between the 2 programs that we'll be actively recruiting for. Our internship program, do you want to highlight, is a major pipeline for our full-time MBA LDP program. And we do offer targeted training and mentorship throughout for both of these programs, for both the internship and full-time. Next slide. All right, and this slide here is really just an overview of what you can expect coming out of your internship or your full-time LDP. Just want to note that our program requirements consist of at least 5 years of business experience. That business experience does not need to be finance specific, and you do need to be enrolled in a full-time MBA program. If you don't fall within these requirements, don't worry, we still have opportunities that we highly encourage you to learn more about. Next slide. And to learn more about J&J Finance, definitely encourage you to visit our career site at careers.jnj.com. We also have our J&J talent community where you can fill out your profile and really be alerted when a job that matches your preferences opens up. So definitely, again, stop by our booth to learn more about finance opportunities at Johnson & Johnson, and definitely meet some more of our finance folks at J&J. Right, and with that, I'll pass it over to Dawn for marketing.
Thank you, Farhad. So my name is Dawn Tiria. I'm with the Marketing Leadership Development Program specific for MedTech, and I am actively in the program and currently looking to recruit for the program. I'll also be at National Black, so I'm excited to meet you all there. Next slide, please. This is just an overview of what MedTech actually looks like. We are made up of different business units where you can work on things anywhere from cardiology to orthopedics to wound closure to vision. And this is all based on locations, but we can talk about that later. Super exciting. Next slide, please. To keep from repeating too much, our program is pretty similar to the finance program. However, we have an internship that's 12 weeks, and we have a full-time position that is 2 years, so that's 2 one-year rotations. And I think what I really want you to understand from this is you don't necessarily have to have marketing experience. We'll help you hone in on those marketing competencies. We do need you to have to actively be in an MBA program, which I would assume that's why you all are attending. So we're so excited to meet you. And the biggest thing to look forward to is that we give you a business critical project. It is something that actually will push the business for it. One of our slogans is to keep people moving, and you'll do that by working with us. Next slide, please. And this is just a further breakdown for the difference between internship and full-time. And similar to finance, our internship is a feeder into our full-time program. However, we do recruit outside of that once we know the feedback from our internships. With that, just another caveat, our program it does require you to be enrolled into a business program and acquiring your MBA, but we also require that you have 4 years of work experience post your bachelor's degree. That is highly preferred, and some level of experience professionally, which means everything that is listed to the right, there's a bunch of different things, anything from marketing to sales to market research, whatever professional background you have, we love to have you. We love diverse backgrounds. Next slide, please. And this is just another image to show the journey. So if you started out as an intern and you accept a full-time offer, you'll come in full-time for that 2-year program, and then you'll exit with a full-time placement. We're thinking long-term. Next slide is great. And some of those resources you get to lean into with being a part of the program, you build your own set of skills while also building externally. So you get to work on interpersonal things, extrapersonal things, work with senior leadership, building relationships on how to be a better leader, partnering with mentors, having a buddy to make sure that you're successful throughout the summer and the program. Next slide, please. And last but not least, what everybody always waits for, this is where we have opportunities all across the globe, primarily on the East Coast, but we do have opportunities that live out on the West Coast. And if any of these are intriguing to you, I would love to talk to you about it. Next slide, please. And very similar to finance, to find out more about these opportunities, you can definitely reach out to me. I'm happy to connect with you on LinkedIn and meet you at the booth. But you can also see all these opportunities on the career website. And next slide, please. I would love to introduce you to Jamila.
Awesome. Thanks, Dontaria. So hi, everyone. My name is Jamila Slade. Before joining Johnson & Johnson, I was an MBA candidate at the Duke University Fuqua School of Business. So super excited to be with all of you on the other side of recruitment. I'm originally from New York and consider myself a career switcher. I spent most of my career in the social impact space, so working for several nonprofits in New York City. My internship was in neuroscience, which I'll talk a little bit about. And then currently right now, I'm a product manager in the lung cancer space. Next slide. So I'll keep this really high level, but just wanted to reiterate, Janssen is the pharmaceutical sector of the Johnson & Johnson business. We happen to be the largest sector of the business compared to some of the counterparts here, friendly competition. So in terms of our Q2 2023 earnings call, Johnson & Johnson recorded earnings of $25 billion, but Janssen, the pharmaceutical side of the business, made up 54% of that, which most of our business can be detailed to some of our top products, Darzalex, Stelara, Tremfya, Erleada, so many. But really wanted to kind of level set the pharma business, kind of set us apart a little bit from some of the many other individuals here. So while pharma is very regulated in terms of drug safety, quality, and pricing, you really have the opportunity to work with a number of different stakeholders, whether they're healthcare providers, patients, government, insurance companies. So you get a breadth of different opportunities. And on the bottom, you can see some of our 6 therapeutic areas. So cardiovascular, immunology, infectious disease, vaccines, neuroscience, oncology, and pulmonary hypertension, to get an idea of the breadth of work that you could possibly work on. Next slide. So under the 6 therapeutic areas that I just talked about, as you can see, it's a number of different diseases that you might have the opportunity to work on. So for me specifically, I'm in the oncology therapeutic area, but I work, sorry, it's almost flu and cold time. So while I work in oncology, the specific product that I work on is a lung cancer drug. So while there's a number of different therapeutic areas, you'll have the opportunity to work in a number of different diseases as defined here. Next slide. Great. I think what's most important here, I already talked about the therapeutic areas, but at Janssen, we like to focus our efforts and resources where the science is compelling and where we have the greatest opportunity to solve the most urgent unmet medical needs based on our time and what's providing the most beneficial impact to patients. Next slide. This is kind of very similar to what was just mentioned in the other leadership development program. So like most standard MBA internships, this one is for 12 weeks. It spans from May to August. Of course, you'll have the ability to work on business critical needs. So no busy work in a sense. In terms of requirements, you'll have to have 4+ years of professional experience. And as I shared my background, you don't have to have a traditional pharma background or be a PharmD. You can really just tell the story of why you're passionate about Janssen or why you're interested in healthcare to really land an internship at Janssen. So most of the typical what you'll learn to contribute is very similar to the other programs. Next slide. Okay, great. So this is all very similar. You'll have an opportunity to have a mentor. I was a mentor for the interns this year, so providing our insight on what it means to be an MBA candidate. How is it different to navigate a pharma company, especially if this is your first time working in the industry? In terms of our locations, we have 3. As I mentioned before, I live in the Philadelphia area, so I work in the Horsham, PA, but there's also a Titusville and a Raritan office based on the therapeutic area. Next slide. Okay, so I kind of gave a very high level overview of my experience. So in the JPLDP program, you'll have a 12-week summer internship program where you're put into a number of different therapeutic areas and you learn kind of whether it's from payer, professional promotions, patient, and you get to actually see the business in a short span of time. From there, you're going to your first placement, which is where I'm at right now in oncology. But for you, all of you interested in joining the company, you have the opportunity to join any of the therapeutic areas that I listed before. So you'll do that for about 18 months, and then you'll get your final placement. Great, next slide. Okay, as already mentioned before, like all of the other programs, you can apply online at careers.jnj.com. I'll also be at National Black this year, so excited to welcome you all to Philly. So I'll pass it off to my procurement counterpart.
Thank you, Jamila. Hi, everyone. My name is Siobhan Paul, and I work within the procurement function of Johnson & Johnson. I'm actually on our process and capabilities team where I lead the strategy and implementation of our supplier risk solutions. I'm super excited to talk to you all today about procurement at J&J and the Procurement Leadership Development Program. Next slide. So as the PLDP within J&J, some of the things that you'll do is grow your impact, grow your opportunities, and grow as a leader or into a leader within the procurement function. One of the things that I want to talk about as it relates to procurement is that in addition to savings goals and targets that we have with our business partners, it's also important to know that within the procurement function, you're actually working on things like citizenship, which includes supplier sustainability initiatives and supplier diversity initiatives, meaning that you're working to build diverse supplier networks for Johnson & Johnson and work with those suppliers to provide services to J&J as well. From a sustainability perspective, you're working with our supply base on sustainability practices like Scope 3 emission practices or human rights advocacy and things like that. So I just want to help you guys understand and realize that within procurement at J&J, it's not just about savings, but building and delivering value for our business partners based on their business needs. And that's what I mean when I say that you'll have an opportunity to grow your impact, because you're going to be delivering real value to our business partners and to Johnson & Johnson's patients and healthcare professionals, as well as our communities, which are key tenets of our credo that Carla talked about earlier. Also, within procurement, you're going to be able to grow from an opportunity perspective, because you're going to be working more than likely on global projects with business partners that are based around the world. Again, working on those projects and initiatives that drive patient health and drive impact to our communities. And last but not least, within the PLDP program, you're going to grow as a leader, because you're going to be building networks, you're going to be working on your personal development, and these are the things that'll help you to grow as a leader. Next slide. So specifically for our PLDPs, we have two opportunities. Our first opportunity is our full-time opportunity. It's a 3-year program that has 2 rotations. So you'll be in each rotation for a year and a half. And our full-time program, again, is where you're going to work on developing core strategic competencies, like developing your business acumen. So what that means is understanding the business's needs, understanding where they plan on going in the future, and then helping them to get there by delivering services or working with suppliers that can deliver those services for the business. Another key component for procurement that you guys may not necessarily know about is our emphasis on supplier-enabled innovation. So as a procurement function, we own the relationships with our supply base. And one of our key tenets within procurement is to ensure that we're bringing in those innovative ideas from our suppliers to help to drive our business strategies. So by building your business acumen skill, this is where you will understand what the business needs, what those key strategies are that they're working on in drug developments, like in the med tech space as far as new medical devices, or in Janssen space, so new therapeutic areas, and having an understanding of those things, bringing in the right suppliers to address those needs as well. Also, from a competency perspective, you'll develop the ability to become what we call a trusted business partner, because again, we own those relationships with the suppliers, and our business partners are looking to us to help lead them through the external market environment and bring the experts into J&J and to support those projects and initiatives that they are leading as well. And also, from a core competency perspective, you'll also have the ability to develop your analytical capabilities. So a lot of you may or may not be familiar with things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science. These are all the digital capabilities that we are building within our procurement function to help to drive the business forward by making sure that our processes and capabilities are streamlined and efficient so that we can focus on those most important business initiatives and drive those needs. So that's just a flavor of some of these core competencies that you'll gain as you become a PLDP within J&J. So again, the full-time program is a 3-year program with 2 rotations. And our summer internship program is a 10 to 12-week program where you'll be responsible for leading an individual project, again, supporting a critical business need. And just like many of the other programs, our summer internship program is a feeder into a full-time program as well. So if you move on to the next slide. So from an experience perspective, we're looking for individuals who have a minimum of 5 years of work experience prior to your MBA and or grad school. We also are looking for individuals who have a proven track record of leadership, demonstrated leadership. And from an experience perspective, also folks who have a procurement, supply chain, and or logistics background. But again, these aren't things that are required. These are things that are preferred. And again, that's to the point number 3 below. And like I said before, the skills that you're going to develop as a part of the PLDP program are business acumen, strategic thinking, analytical skills, and the ability to influence at all levels. And similarly to some of the other programs as well, when you join the PLDP program, it's going to be an opportunity for you to build your network within J&J, because you're going to have a buddy and a mentor when you come in that'll help you navigate Johnson & Johnson and the function as well. So that's all that I have. I will be in Philly as well for National Black. So looking forward to meeting you all and helping you to understand the procurement function a little bit more and assessing your interest. And I'll hand it over to Kirby.
Thank you so much, Siobhan, and thank you for sharing all this awesome information. It's been great to learn about each of you all's functions and each of your roles. Like Siobhan said, my name is Kirby McCullough. I am a member of our HR Leadership Development Program. I'm currently an HR leader within the compensation team. I was part of the HR Leadership Development Program, and I recently graduated from the program just last month. So it was a really fantastic experience, and I'm looking forward to telling you all a little bit more about those experiences. So we can go on to the next slide. So the HRLDP is a 2-year experience with 3 rotations. So we actually have 2 different tracks that I'll tell you a little bit more about, but we, like all the other programs, do have an internship that we'll be recruiting for. So our applications aren't out just yet. They will be live by the time of the National Black event, but they aren't live just yet. So if after this call you kind of look for the applications, they aren't up just yet, but keep an eye on the portal for National Black and get posted once that goes live towards the end of this month. But our internship is a 12-week internship that gives you an opportunity to be a part of really business critical roles and get exposure to our senior leadership. So you get opportunities for really targeted development, help you get exposure into a lot of different areas. And of course, like the other roles, it's a strong feeder into our full-time program. Once you complete your degree, we are looking for folks that are actively pursuing their degrees, whether you're pursuing an MBA, pursuing a master's in general, or a part of an undergrad program. We are looking for current students with a graduation date looking at late 2024 or 2025. So once you join the full-time LDP program, like I said, it's going to be those 3 rotations across different sectors within our HR function. So you'll get exposure into business immersions that could be anywhere around the world at our different sites, and get an opportunity to engage with senior leaders, collaborate across an entirely global community. And really, this was one of my favorite parts of being a part of the program, is just getting that exposure to your cohort that is a part of 19 different countries all around the world. So even post your program, we have alumni development. So post placement, which is where I'm at now, I still get exposure with the office of the program office. I get ongoing development. I'm connected with leaders constantly, and my engagement with the organization is really a priority. So even post-program, you're still really emphasized along your development pathway, and you get a chance to connect with a really strong cohort and engage with future LDP talent, which is what I get to do with you all today. And there is no typical pathway. So across these 3 rotations, everyone in my cohort has had completely different experiences, all fantastic across all these different capabilities. So you get to experience a lot of critical exposure and increasing complexity and responsibility across all of these rotations. And you can get a lot out of these rotations and really build yourself up as an HR leader. So you can go to the next slide. So like I kind of hinted at, there are 2 programs we're actually recruiting for. So we have our foundational HR leadership development program and then our experience track. So the foundational, both of these tracks do have an internship as well as a full-time program. I was a part of the foundational HR leadership development program. So what that meant was I had less than 2 years of experience before applying to the internship. So really, if you are, I did have my master's, but I didn't have over 2 years of experience. So if that sounds like one of you all, then you're a perfect candidate for our foundational level. If you do have that over 5 years of work experience, then you'd be more well suited for our experienced HRLDP. So we'll be recruiting for both of these. Really what we're looking to do is shape the future of work for this, for our entire healthcare community. You get a lot of exposure into a lot of different sectors. You can work with different folks even within all of these business functions that we've mentioned before, and really be an enabling partner and business partner as an HR leader. So the cohorts range from having no background in human capital or in HR leadership to being experienced HR professionals. So depending on where your experience lies, we're really just looking for folks who are skilled in analytic capabilities, really have that aptitude for leadership, excited about collaboration and team orientation, and really possess those critical thinking skills. Those are the competencies that we want you to come through with, and that will continue to build with you throughout this rotational program. So in terms of professional experiences that we're looking for, really things like consulting, data analytics, experience with business strategy and human capital strategy. That's all kind of what we'd expect from folks looking at the experienced HRLDP. And then if you're looking for more of a foundational experience, then we really just want to make sure that you kind of have that basic background, coordination for human resources needs, project management skills, and professional development critical capabilities. That's really where the differentiators are. We don't expect you to be, fully experienced in the HR realm, but just have that passion for benefiting the health for humanity and for really enabling the leaders of the future that are creating these amazing products that are saving lives across the world. So that is our program. We can go to the next slide. As I said, our application is not quite open yet, but it will be at the end of the month and definitely before the National Black Conference. I unfortunately will not get to be joining you all in person in Philadelphia. Emily Balerna and Chelsea Burrell will be there in person. If you'd like to connect with them on LinkedIn, feel free to, but I will be missing out on the party, unfortunately, but I'm happy to be here for you all today and answer any questions you might have about the program. But you can go ahead and take it away, Carla. Thank you.
Thanks, Kirby. So as Kirby's mentioned, we want to take some time to open up the call to some Q&A, so feel free to drop them into the chat. We've seen some come through thus far, but one that I would love to just discuss briefly is that we received many questions regarding sponsorship status. So I would like to share that many of our opportunities require permanent work authorization for the country in which the role is located. So given this, it is the best to refer to the specific job posting of interest to determine the work authorization requirements. Now, what I do love to kind of incorporate my panel and have some fun this evening, so I'll turn it to my panel with this one question. Let's get to know them a little bit better. So I like to ask each of you, what made you choose to pursue your career and your respective functions? We'll start with Farhat, and then we'll work our way around, and it'll be Dontaria, Jamila, Siobhan, and Kirby.
Great question. I think finance, a lot of people when they're in school, it's kind of just like a general business class that they have to take, but I've had some really great professors and mentors along the way that really made me want to hone in on a lot of that finance knowledge. And then once I did the Johnson & Johnson co-op while I was still in school, it definitely solidified my passion for finance, as well as my passion for working for such a great company. Seeing that they live by the credo and like their work was really honest, it really just solidified my career and wanting to have my growth and my professional development happen at Johnson & Johnson.
Perfect, thanks, Farhat. We'll go to Dontaria.
So I actually was a high school teacher before I started working at J&J. And I think that's the value for diverse backgrounds, but I'm super passionate about marketing, but the way that we market at J&J is more focused on people than it is the dollar. And so I enjoy that most.
Perfect. Thank you. Jamila.
Yeah, I think similar to Dontaria, it had like I mentioned before, I had a non-traditional background. So for me, it was always about impact and the ability to make an impact. And I think with the credo, putting patients first, that's something that I really valued. I think in terms of function area as a marketer, I like the ability to do a lot. And I like to see, high level where the business is going. And I think being a marketer gives you a lot of opportunities to do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Siobhan.
Yes, so I actually been working at J&J straight out of high school. You can believe that, right? Like I did 5 summer internships in high school with J&J, and then when I graduated from college, I was actually a part of the IT leadership development program. So my career at J&J started off in IT, and then I decided that I wanted to change functions. So I went into our supply chain function to get a little bit closer to the business and to the products that we are responsible for from a consumer perspective. And while I was in supply chain, I wanted to learn more about plan, source, make, deliver, which is the tenets of supply chain. So the source component is actually how I landed in procurement. So, it was me trying to learn more about supply chain, but I ended up in procurement and I've been here ever since. And, I just love the function. I think as a function, we really stress talent development and talent growth. We are, strong proponents of business advocacy through our supplier relationships and the innovations that we bring. So, for me, it was kind of luck, right? That I got into procurement, trying to understand another function.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. And Kirby.
Yeah, I have my classic kind of cheesy answer for joining HR. I really wanted to make people happy to go to work, and I wanted to do that through pursuing a degree in organizational psychology. And I had a big plan to go and get my PhD in that area and go kind of an academic route to study what makes people happy to go to work. And then J&J came and recruited at my, my master's program, and kind of changed everything for me. I learned about the credo, and I learned about how people driven this company is, and all the opportunities for my development, and then the opportunities I'd have to support others in their development. And it just sounded like exactly the impact I wanted to make. And it didn't include 5 more years of school. So it sounded like a really great opportunity. And it's something that I definitely am so grateful that I made that pivot to. And I've gotten that opportunity to really support these goals of benefiting the folks that I serve every day. So definitely grateful I made that choice.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, panel. This has been fantastic. And let's continue on with the fun. So team, I'd love for a few of you to have the opportunity to share some of the breakthrough projects that you've been a part of. Jamila, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I think the one that just popped into my head, it's so funny, when I was a summer internship, a lot of people have mentioned this and made me very weary, but business planning. So I'm in the midst of that for 2024. And basically you have this opportunity to look over all of the strategic direction for the team for 2023 and kind of take all of those insights and think forward of where does the team want to be for 2024. And it's been really just mind-blowing, just the level of detail. You have to take budget, but it's been really great, especially for me. I'm on the launch brand. So not only just thinking about what we currently have in the pipeline, but also all the new indications that we're potentially launching in 2024. That's like the biggest thing that's been most important for me.
Perfect. Thanks, Jamila. I'm going to go to Siobhan next and continue on the fun.
Sure. I would say one of the coolest projects that I've ever worked on is bringing virtual reality and augmented reality capabilities to the medtech business. So I partnered a lot with our global education solutions team in medtech to launch also VR, which is the software for virtual reality, and Oculus headsets, which are headsets through Facebook or Meta now, to bring that to our sales training team so that they could learn about various surgery types or methodologies, and then be able to train our doctors and nurses on the surgery techniques as well. But also the VR and AR capabilities were launched to our doctors and nurses so that they could train on the surgical practices of J&J that we employ at MedTech, specifically around, I think it was in the DePuy space, right? So that was one of the coolest things that I ever done, because prior to that, had never worked with a VR supplier or an AR supplier. It was new to J&J, and it was really cool to be a part of that.
Perfect. Thank you, Siobhan. So with thinking about team, thank you for sharing your reflections. Going back to when you were a candidate, what would be your one word of advice that you would give as folks are embarking of stopping by the J&J booth? What's a word that kind of goes back to really set them up for success as they're looking for that next opportunity?
Can I go?
Absolutely, Siobhan.
So I've been recruiting at National Black for I think it'll be my 4th year or maybe my 5th year in various capacities. And the one piece of advice that I would say to anyone on the line that is going to walk up to the procurement function is to please know the credo. Know our credo, right? Know Johnson & Johnson as a company. You know, just do a little bit of Googling, just a tad bit of research that'll help you to understand who we are as a company and what we value through our credo. That's number one. And number two is demonstrate passion. Why are you interested in this position? Is this something that aligns with your values? Is there something that you look to deliver and achieve by obtaining the position that you are applying for within? Because as you can see from the panel, we are all passionate about the work that we do for the company. And that is something that we look for in candidates. It's not necessarily, is this person qualified enough? Do they have, the business skills, the leadership skills, et cetera, et cetera. It's how passionate are they about the role? How passionate are they about J&J? Like, everyone that works here talks about our credo and how it aligns to their values as well. So those are like my 2 things that I would share for anyone who's interested at working at J&J.
Perfect. Thank you, Siobhan. Anyone else would like to jump in on that one before we circle back?
I would piggyback off Siobhan and say that is so right. I think a step further than knowing the credo, because it's 3 paragraphs, I don't think she intends for you to memorize it, but to definitely tell us what it means to you is the step. Like, when you can communicate what we value and what that value means to you, you've made a great connection at any company, honestly. But I think we're the best. Just wanted to piggyback.
Awesome. So going back to Kirby and Farhat to the question early on, thank you, panel. When you think about your breakthrough project that you've been a part, can you share some reflections about that opportunity?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Sorry for that. But yeah, for me, I had the opportunity to be a part of a really challenging rotation during my HR leadership development program. I got to be a business partner for one of our medtech businesses in DePuy that is starting their robotics journey, or has kicked it off over the last couple of years. And so we are a very big legacy company. It was a completely new experience for me, and I was responsible for owning the entire talent strategy for this whole site as their only HR person. I was like, what am I doing in this role? But I was trusted to have that kind of responsibility, and I was able to create 4 different opportunities for the entire plant to really expand their skills and develop through a kind of talent months of opportunities, and connect them with our local universities to get them to go back to school and get the education they needed to be able to support a robotics company from going to just being a power tools company. And so transitioning an entire workforce to being able to support this huge new market that we're trying to play in was really fantastic. And it gave me an opportunity to see, this company is really supporting the development, the engagement of these folks. We're not looking to just get new people into the organization that already know robotics. We're trying to build the employees up that don't have those skills but are loyal to J&J and really believe in our credo. And that's how you kind of lead through the credo and everything you do. And so getting an opportunity to really develop the folks I got to be around every day and really make that my whole job was just bringing them further and closer to our future mission. It was just an amazing opportunity to get to support while in program. And it just showed me how close we get to lead to that credo.
Perfect. Thanks, Kirby.
And I think for me, in the finance organization, I had joined straight out of college. So my first rotation was through the finance leadership development program. I was assigned a project that was completely new to the business. And I was really responsible for creating a lot of those finance dashboards, metrics, and things of that nature with all of the project leads. So really having that opportunity to kind of set the bar, set the cadence, hold people accountable and responsible for their targets was really a great experience for me coming straight out of college and getting that leadership opportunity straight away really helped set the tone for my career so far at J&J.
Perfect. Thanks, Farhat. So we've got two last questions. One being, do you need to be employed at J&J for a certain amount of time prior to being eligible for the tuition reimbursement program? The short answer is no. This benefit is available right away for full-time employees. The last question, I know we've got a lot of questions coming in, but feel free to connect with us in person in September. But last but not least, we saw one question come through, and a couple actually mentioned, will there be representation for other opportunities outside the programs? And in short answer, there will be. So please, please, please stop by our booth to learn more about our internship, co-op, and full-time opportunities. So I will pass it back to Paula to close. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been so insightful. Thank you so much, Johnson & Johnson, for your time and for pouring into our membership. And thank you all for joining us. So as a few of the panelists have already mentioned, our conference, you can meet them there in person. We will be in Philadelphia, September 12th through the 16th. Registration is now open, so do not delay in registering so that you can make those connections for your next step in your journey. We would love to get your feedback on how things went tonight. And so you will see a QR code there. The first 25 people who complete the survey will be entered in a chance to win an Amazon gift card. So do not delay in doing that either. So until then, I hope you take great care of yourself and each other. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Good night.